beautiful souls. Welcome back to another episode of Karma Cards for 2025. We're in the second week, technically. First, I don't know how to look at this week. It starts on January 6th, the second-ish week of January, and we've had some planetary shifts. The first shift is Mars has switched into the sign of Cancer, but we're still in Mars retrograde, and we're going to talk about that. And then we've got Mercury moving into the sign of Capricorn, making us all a little bit more analytical, prone to look at the details, very keen on the information, right? We're at a space right now mentally where we want more information and we want to disseminate information. So that's going to be sort of a mental theme happening right now. Then we have a full moon in Cancer. So the moon will be joining with Mars in the sign of Cancer. So it's an emotional energy, a lot of emotions. And as we build up to that full moon happening on the 13th, that's where that emotional buildup is. There's a lot of planets that will be in water signs, and emotions are going to be what we are looking at. And by the way, if you'd like to join me for the full moon in Cancer Spirit Circle, here is the link. It will be in the description below. You can join us, participate in the full moon release ritual, and do psychic Q&A with me. And I'd love to meet you and talk with you. So if it feels aligned, the link is in the description below. Let's talk about Mars in Cancer in a retrograde, right? So this is where Mars will be for the rest of Mars retrograde, which again goes through February 23rd. Mars is a sign of, it's considered a planet of war, right? We call it the planet of war. It's got a mentality of it's either me or you, right? And in that situation, it always wants to focus on itself. If only one of us can have it, it's going to be me. So that's just kind of basic Mars mentality. Mars in Cancer is at a detriment. These don't work well together. Mars is an aggressive masculine sign. Cancer is a soft feminine sign. When you put them together, Mars feels weakened and it gets really sensitive, but it still has the mentality of me or you. So when this happens, we get really fixated on our need for security, that emotional security. Do you love me? Do you care about me? Do my feelings matter to you? We get into this heightened place of needing our emotional needs to be met, and it's a me or you situation. So if you're not meeting my needs, then you're abandoning me. It's an extreme sort of mindset here. With Mars retrograding here, it's for us to look at where we are doing this, where we are sort of playing a hierarchical need situation, and where we are sort of maybe bulldozing others or dismissing others, because again, our need for feeling secure is so great that we're backburnering the needs of others. So it's going to ask us to look into these areas where we're making our need for security so strong that we're maybe not willing to take a chance on something or have faith or put someone else's needs first because we're so terrified that our own needs will lapse in some way. And the answer to that, the way we can work through it is to, again, whenever we find that our attention gets hyper-focused on us, whether it's what will people think of me or are my needs getting met, one of the ways we can balance out that heavy ego energy is to simply flip the script and think about, what are your needs? What are the needs of other people right now? How can I address those needs or possibly meet those needs if possible? What that does, it sort of deflates that energy, and it sort of cross cancels that Mars impulse of either my needs get met or yours, but both shall not meet. That mentality is not true. There is a win-win situation. And many times when we're working to address those needs or create a sense of security for the people around us, we in turn feel more secure, because if we are able to create it outside of us, we already have it. And that awareness kicks in and it quiets down that insecure feeling that something isn't getting met. If we're able to meet it out there, it's already met in here, right? It's kind of like if I'm able to give you this cup of water, I've had water all along, right? So that's kind of the simple solution for it. When I asked the team, what's your message around it? They said they would add that in time, all things are met. There's an opportunity for you to get your needs met as well. So it's never a you versus them situation. It's always who is the one, where's the priority? Like, where's the need most right now? Is it with you? Is it with another? And it talks about this wheel that goes around. Everybody's going to get met. It depends on where the need is right now. If it's with you, it will get met. If it's with another, you can meet that, or they can have that met, or you can acknowledge that they need that met. And in doing so, it secures the area. So like every time we acknowledge where the need is the greatest and we do our best to acknowledge it and possibly meet it, then we're securing the area and it can continue to move around. We want that needle to move around the circle, like the clock, right? The hands of a clock going around. We want it to continue to go around. And when we are in the negative aspect of Mars in Cancer, it's almost like we want to stop the hands from moving and we just want it to point at us, like make me secure, make me secure. Nothing's going to make us feel our insecurity more than demanding to feel secure. Because every time you're demanding for it, or you're like, I need to feel this, what you're actually saying to yourself on a subconscious level and to the world at large is, I'm not that. I'm not secure. I'm not safe, right? My needs aren't met. Every time we're hyper focused on that. When we can give awareness and attention and possibly support to another, what we're acknowledging is that we're good. We're able to focus on someone else and it counterbalances that energy. So again, notice, because that's what we're in. We're in a learning period with Mars retrograde. It's asking us to look at this behavior and acknowledge where it's active for us. Some of us have natal placements here and we'll probably feel that energy intensely. Like, we need to really find that sense of security from within. And this isn't to say that you don't deserve support. Of course you do. But everything in time and everything in divine timing means where it's needed most, it goes first and it comes around. We want to be in a place where we're in flow with that and not trying to impede the flow by keeping it on us. And some will have an easier time than others. But if you're aware and you catch that, then it's like, how can I get a sense of security now? What makes me feel secure in myself, not what brings me security, like the money or the external love or the job or the validation or whatever it is, but internally what makes me feel secure. And that's a point in which we contemplate. And when you contemplate that, you will come up with some answers, things that might make you feel secure when you confirm that you have your own back, when you heal self-abandonment, when you validate yourself, when you tell yourself you love yourself, when you take time to rest or take care of yourself. These are all very reaffirming activities that can create a sense of security. Like when you feel yourself getting emotional or upset and you choose to take a deep breath, calm and center yourself so that you can respond instead of react. Those things can help bring you a sense of personal security. And as you figure out what it is that creates that feeling for you and engage in it more, you feel like, I'm in flow with everything, because I know when I'm in flow with everything, my needs are going to be met, if not already met. And that is the message from the team this week. So now let's look at the karma cards and see what they add to this message. If you're new to Karma Cards, let me quickly show you how these work. I have 3 decks here: planets, signs of the zodiac, and the houses of astrology. And I've already asked my team, what is the message you have for us this week? And I've got 2 sets of answers, a set in red, which are action related, and a set in blue, which are outcome related. And the way that you tune in and play is you feel into your intuition and look for the guidance you need. So are you looking for action related guidance, outcome related guidance? And of course, you can always choose both. And while you are choosing, here's the timing for this reading. This reading is for January 8th through the 15th. And the flavor of this reading, we've got the South Node. The South Node is about our karma, what we need to learn and let go of. In the sign of Aquarius, which is the age that we are already starting, it's the era that we're into now, which is all about freedom, our big vision, and working together for humanity's sake. In the sign of the 9th house, which is the sign of mental expansion. So this is really asking us to let go so that we can move forward, which is really interesting when you think about that Mars retrograde energy. So let's go deeper in. If you're choosing action, your spiritual action at this time is to remember your vision as if it or they came from God. It's talking about, think about the future that you'd like to create. Think about the world that you'd like to live in, the new Earth, the age of Aquarius, the higher timeline, the better energy. Think about that vision, and in terms of, and know that it came from a higher source, right? It came from God, it came from source, the universe. It comes from a higher frequency of consciousness. And as you're taking that, consider the fact that the way that this Mars retrograde is asking us to review our behavior. Am I hyper focused on making sure I feel secure, or am I also consciously aware of how I can help others feel secure? In the vision of your highest timeline and the greatest future, I'm going to assume that people are more conscientious, more mindful, more aware, more compassionate, connected, and kind. And if so, how did that begin? Because it always begins with us, right? It begins in this moment. It begins with a simple choice to be that way, which means it begins with awareness about what we're focusing on now. Each action, each choice that we're making is going to lead us in that direction. Now, I believe we're going in that direction inevitably, but we can get there faster if we start today. Mental action at this time: reconsider what is new and different about the philosophies or laws involved. I think what makes this Mars retrograde different is there has been overall a maturing. I'm not saying that everyone is in the same place, and I'm not saying everyone is mature. I'm just saying that collectively, we have grown. We will continue to grow. On an individual level, we're at different places, but collectively, we are maturing. We still have a ways to go. I mean, there's work to do. But from the level of maturity we have now, I think that we are more capable of self-awareness in regards to the us or them ideology. That's something that is falling away. It takes time, and it starts internally. It starts with that personal choice of recognizing I do not have to sacrifice the needs of another to get my needs met, nor do I have to sacrifice my needs to meet another's. Like, there is a win-win scenario, and that is recognizing who needs it more in this moment. Trusting that it's a circular flow. It's going to come back to me, especially when I need it. It will be there. But who needs it more? If I'm the one who's in the most distress or the most pain right now, then yes, then that's the one who needs it most. But if another is, then it can go to them. And it doesn't always have to be this intense scenario where it's like someone has to be hurt in order for their needs to get met. Only recognizing like the capacity, I have more capacity than this person right now to hold this space, or they have more capacity, right? So we're going to It's just we're putting our feelers out and we're recognizing that I have needs that need to be met and I'd like support and I'd like to feel secure. But I'm also going to acknowledge that that's happening for other people as well, and maybe everyone involved. And so I'm going to try and assess the level of my need. Can I meet this in myself, or do I need another to help? And if I do, I can ask, but I can also be okay with being told I can't right now. I don't have the capacity, and owning that. That's the maturity. So that's what I'm seeing is starting. And again, it starts with an individual choice that we are making, but we're moving towards a higher level of awareness as a group as well. Physical action at this time, now is not the time to use an unconventional way and do it in a big way. So again, this is talking about these more personal choices. People are waiting for the bigger shift. I'm waiting for society to shift. I'm waiting for humanity to shift. I'm waiting for a country to shift. I'm waiting for this big shift. And they're saying that's not where we're at right now. Right now, we're still introspective. We're still reviewing and trying to get clear on our motivation, including that motivation for security, which motivates a lot of people to behave, right? So think about how people are motivated by money. It's not just money, it's about the security. It's about what that money can get you. And for a lot of it, it's for like a stable life, all their needs taken care of, their survival is covered, right? When people are thinking at that level, they can do some shady stuff because it's their need for security that drives them. When you become aware that that bigger shift will happen when individuals shift, and it's an inside job, that's when it happens faster. Imagine more than just you taking that moment, because it's saying this is a personal thing right now, what we're going through. This Mars is a personal planet. It's affecting your personal life and your personal awareness. Imagine if more people were focusing on that. The more people that focus on that, the more we see the external group shift. And so at this time, we're continuously reminded that as much as you'd like to see it out there, it will come, but it starts here. And if you can take this time of quiet, of slow forward momentum, and just use it to review and go, you know what? I'd really want to feel secure. Where can I feel that in myself? And that will change how I behave with others. I can be more sensitive to what their needs are, making it easier for us to cooperate together. And if we focus on that, we naturally start seeing it shift out there. Right, so now let's look at outcomes for the South Node in Aquarius in the 9th house of mental expansion. The spiritual outcome at this time, there will not be genius to experiment with spiritual values. I'm just getting right now that you're not going to see the big aha moment, nothing cutting edge. It's more like awareness. Awareness can be quiet and simple. It can be that finally seeing the thing that's been standing in front of you that you've been maybe avoiding or not looking at, or telling yourself you don't need to look at. Now you're looking at it. Kind of simple and quiet. Nothing revolutionary feeling yet. I don't think that kicks in until after January 23rd. I think all of that awareness accumulates and could lead to an aha moment, but not an aha moment right now. Mental outcome at this time, anxiety about the discoveries of long-range thinking or travels. This point is sticky. Mars in Cancer and in a retrograde is a sticky point because it's sensitive, right? So Cancer represents the sign of sensitivity. It's very intuitive, very sensitive, but it feels very vulnerable. And people tend to avoid what makes them feel vulnerable, and they don't really want to go there. So this is why it's a hard period, and there isn't a big aha, because I think maybe at first, unless you're just ready, I think at first we do everything we can not to go there and think about it. I just want my needs met. Just meet my needs. I feel so sensitive right now. I feel so insecure. Please meet my needs. And we kind of hyper focus there. So I feel like it takes a lot of effort to sort of overcome the coping mechanisms or the excuses we make for ourselves and that behavior. So we're going to have to do some work here. It's not going to come easy right away. Physical outcome at this time, trouble resulting from the eccentricity of what is to be shared. Let's be clear. It's not just sensitivity for you or insecurity for you. It's a group energy, right? So it's a personal planet that's affecting everybody personally. So again, conscious awareness is the key, makes it easier. There's less trouble the more conscious you are of like, oh, this is the sticky point, right? This is the moment where I need to check in and be like, where is this coming from? Is this motivation ego driven? Is it something that I really need right now? Does anyone else need anything? Like, how can I meet their needs while meeting my own? If you're doing that, there's less trouble. I can see people being overly sensitive and going into the me or them mentality easily, especially the less consciously aware they are. So be aware that you're feeling sensitive, they're feeling sensitive. You say something, they take it a certain way. You feel insecure about how they respond. It can be a back and forth, like a ping pong match, and somebody's got to stop it. And it's the most aware one. And it's probably you, because you're hearing this message. So if you're hearing this message, congratulations on your self-awareness. The ping pong match stops when you stop, right? So somebody's got to put their paddle down and be like, this is an impasse. We're both feeling insecure. It's just a hard time. Let's breathe and get through it. It's just a temporary crappy moment, not a temporary situation or not a crappy situation or a crappy life. It's a crappy moment, if any. That'll be your saving grace. In general, sensitive people, going after sensitive people, trying to meet their needs, it gets a little sticky. So deep breaths. Remember, your needs will get met. The circle comes around. We just breathe through it. We work on meeting our own sense of security by identifying it within and recognizing that if I have the capacity to meet another's needs right now, or at least acknowledge them, that I'm doing pretty good, and that'll help us calm down. And by next week, it will shift. So until then, I'm sending you so much love. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Are you feeling this energy? And was this video helpful to you? And I will see you in the next Karma Cards.